You are watching another edition of Blue Splits, an early morning edition of Blue Splits. As you can notice, in a different spot. I think, as you guys know now, if you are habitual listeners, got the dog with me on most of these shows, so trying to do them from areas that he is cool with, so I don't have to deal with him all the time. So maybe he'll take a little sleep and then we'll be able to get to some more film. But that's my situation. Another situation, quick update for the people who are, again, habitual listeners. I recorded all of Jacob Martin, Jordan Whitehead, and Nate Herbig, and none of them recorded audio. So I have to record all three shows again. So that was like 6 hours, an absolute waste of my life. And Jacob Martin, I already recorded the beginning twice. So the beginning of it the first time, I didn't hit record. I recorded like 30 plays, did a whole hour, realized it wasn't recording, recorded again. Little did I realize that I wasn't even that the audio wasn't recording. So I recorded that beginning of that show twice. So for these next four shows, not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna do my absolute best to stay enthused about these reviews and try to give the plays the same the same I don't know, the same talking time, I'm gonna hit the same points as I had in the past. Not gonna lie to you guys, for some of those reviews, it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna really go through this play because literally already did them. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit frustrated, and you're probably gonna hear me bitch about it for the next three shows. So give me a second. And it's always more fun to do it with a dog, because last time I didn't necessarily have to. He was sleeping and stuff, and now he's gonna be wanting to be running outside and in the mud and shit. And then I'm just gonna have to pause the show. It's just gonna be an absolute shit show, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. All right, Quan Alexander today, who I haven't done, so I'm excited. I just know that personally, right after this, I'm gonna go re-record Nate Herbig. Which, my God, man, my God, what Kyle ruined my life. He's the one who's texting me. He's like, your stuff doesn't have audio. He's like, this guy. I'm like, oh, dope. Great. So that was beyond frustrating last night. But let's get into Kwon, who should be fun, enthusiastic. I am. I like, and that's kind of the thing that sucks about it is, like, I was excited about all those reviews. Jacob Martin is like an exciting player, and I go over it and I explain angles and how, he doesn't necessarily have to take the same track as some other defensive linemen because of how explosive he is. But now I got to do it again, so it's going to be hard to be. You guys get it. I'm sure you guys get it. So with Kwon, obviously, watching his film from the last 2 years, 2020, I watched weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wanted to get a taste of him with Salah. And then I watched 2021, the games he played the most, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, and 18. 28 years old, or about to turn 28 years old, 6'1", 225. So a guy you're not expecting to play like David Harris. He's had some injuries. I know 3 years ago he missed maybe most of the season, if not like he only played like 7 games or something like that max. The last 2 years he's played back-to-back 12 games. So it's not like missing 5 games a year, or I guess 4 and then 5 is not ideal. But when we're getting him for like $1.5 million, whatever it is, it's a low risk, high reward type of signing, or low risk, medium reward type of signing. He's a decent player, and we're going to get into his strengths and his weaknesses later. Again, 37 plays, I believe, of Kwon. For the YouTube people, I don't know these plays off the jump, how positive or negative they're going to be. This one is obviously not positive. Beat TD. He's right here, tight 3. I remember this just specifically. They're running cover 3, but everybody's a little bit more tight because all of the receivers are tight. So the defense is not just going to line up wide; they're going to line up obviously in relation to their receiver. So the thing we're going to see this with his angles, and I actually initially like his eyes and kind of how he's playing it tighter. where again, initially he's tighter. He's in a deep third, but he's just tighter because there's no outside threat right here. So he's just going to match the number one regardless. So he doesn't want to get too wide to allow him to have a free release. Kwon knows, okay, he's in, Sherman's going to pick that up. So flips his hips. He's reading the backfield. Obviously, there's a lot of action in said backfield, and he's looking for potentially any crossers right here because this is handled. This is not his responsibility right now. But he has to be very wary of the running back leaking out, because if he is the curl to flat, which I believe he is right here, and Sherman's matching, okay, anything in the flat's pretty much manned up at this point. So we want to see him be cognizant of this guy leaking out of the backfield. He delays just a second, looking back at the quarterback instead of to his assignment, triggers on it. Now the thing about with the angle too is we see him gear down a little bit here instead of, again, being more conservative over the top. If anything, we want to be more conservative because you can make it up. If you're over aggressive, you can never really make it up. So he gears down and tries to again take a more aggressive angle. He just misjudges his angle and gets outran to the sideline. So we want to see him obviously play that a little bit safer. We want to see his eyes be a little bit better in terms of recognizing that he's leaking out into the flat as a curl to flat defender. You have to be obviously cognizant of that. He gets beat for a touchdown. He shows some speed though. I honestly thought he was going to catch him, but that gear down didn't allow him to catch him. He's definitely fast laterally, sideline to sideline. But on that play, again, obviously he got beat. So Kwon missed tackle. And this is the first couple of plays I watched, and from the beginning of 2020 to not the end, but I watched weeks 1 through 5. Even just weeks 4 and 5, he was better than weeks 1 and 2 to me. So just note that if you are just a YouTuber, the film does get better from here from the jump. The jump, it wasn't pretty. It was like eek, and then he got kind of nice to watch. So he's actually a fun player. Just didn't start off well. So 56. Right here, that's what he wore with them. He wore 5 with the Saints. I believe he's wearing 9 with the Jets, which I'm cool to single digits. I am, so let's watch him miss tackle. Receiver screen. That now there are some times there's definitely some times where he's working into he's working laterally, he's working to the sideline, and this is there are situations where kind of high risk, high reward type of guy tackling, where he'll lay a big shot into a guy, force a fumble with a big hit. But then there's times where he doesn't gear down at all, completely overruns Hopkins and allows, another, 5, 10, 15 yards, whatever we're talking about there. So obviously as he's working to the sideline here, he needs to understand just leverage and just in general, just gearing down into traffic a little bit. 41 is outside heavy. 11 is working towards him. If Hopkins cuts outside, it's going to be 41's responsibility. Him coming from underneath, he needs to understand that this is the only way he can go to break tackles. So, he could technically break 41's tackle, right? But if he's going to cut back inside, it's going to be underneath because he has to get flat to get underneath this block. Yeah, never gears down at all and just completely overruns him. So we need to have a little bit more control here, right? We need to see some type of not even a shuffle, but I'm not even asking him to completely break down where his his light or his feet are just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. All that. I'm just talking about literally just slowing down at the minimum. But nonetheless, pass deflection ? PD ? Okay. He's right here. So he drops into looks like it's a man. So he drops into man on Chris Herndon. The thing I will say, typically with playing over top of routes, he's usually pretty patient with it in man coverage, or even if it's zone that becomes man, because again, most zones become man at a certain point. Obviously, more so for corners and safeties than linebackers, but nonetheless, he is very good at sitting over top of routes. Sometimes his feet are a little bit more inactive than you like to see them, but in general, good at sitting out over top of routes with good balance and then just matching breaks with explosion. Because he is more explosive laterally, vertically than most tight ends. even a lot of running backs. Like, he is very, very explosive. So we're going to see him sit on top of the route like he typically does. Now, there is time where he leverages himself either too far inside or too far outside. Not necessarily the case here. Leverages himself inside. Again, if you're going to start opening your hips, you want it to be when you're tighter to the receiver. If you open them up too much, you're giving them too much room to undercut you. But if you're starting to open up as they're coming into that contact window, then it's going to be hard for him to cut and cross your face. Obviously, assuming not necessarily sure how well he can cut, but at this point, it's going to be hard for him to get inside, especially running full speed without him at least reacting forward to cut it off if he is to go inside. So if you're going to open up your hips again, you got to make sure you're almost to the same vertical plane. But patient right there, matches the break, gets hands on, obviously. Still has hands on. Still has hands on to this point in the rep. Herndon turns up the field, scramble drill, trying to find an open spot. The only thing that happens here that almost allows a touchdown is, and it kind of, it's a little bit of a sketchy spot for Kwon. He's reaching for contact right here, and he's reaching for contact. He's a little bit off balance, so obviously we want to see him be more on balance, not necessarily reach for it. But he still has contact, and he looks back inside when Herndon just angles outside, which, it's easier said than done to match a guy in a scramble drill when he's moving all around. So Kwon does a relatively good job. Herndon tries to sit it down by the front pylon-ish area, and Kwon, I will give him the he's a new Jet. So let's say he got the pass deflection. Did I really think he got his hand in there? I don't see it. I think Herndon just straight dropped it, so he probably got beat for a touchdown, and it's because of him reaching for contact and looking back for the ball, not just staying on the tight end. At this point right here, you could see he's looking back for it, and he loses him behind him. Where instead he ideally just wanted to match him all the way down the field. Again, a little bit easier said than done for Kwon, but Kwon nearly beat third down. Okay, he's right here. The strong side of this formation, and he played all over. Like, he didn't just play weak when I was watching him with the Niners. I don't necessarily remember with the Saints. Even I just finished watching it, but like I told you guys, I began on like football fatigue. I had to do like 11 reviews in 2 weeks. But he's right here. So I would say this is more atypical of him. And again, people are watching the meeting, and it's not necessarily good with tackling and some coverage here. But this is a situation where we want to see him in what it appears to be. It's like a fire zone 3 or 6, whatever it is. He's not necessarily in man, but he is in a zone drop, and he should be matching in this instance Chris Herndon. So basically becomes man. And when he starts to play this route, one, he's playing it too, you can see he's playing it too flat and just hesitation. Ideally, once he starts to angle to the inside, I want to see him shuffle just to cut off the top of the route, or at least, match it in some sort of sense, because he lets it get underneath, and now he's flat-footed as it's crossing his face. And then you're going to trigger, as he's already pretty much completely across your face. Now you're triggering on it. He's going to be open if he's semi athletic. Sorry, again, really, really early for me. I just woke up, but got to get this done. But I want to see him be a little bit more, not cautious, but play it more conservatively, just in terms of getting a shuffle in at this point. He's clearly angling off to the inside, where his stem is going to the inside. There's no reason to hesitate and then, explode. He explodes, and a lot of times he trusts his explosion, but you have to understand when and when not to trust that explosion. Here again, it's a little bit late. And then with that being said too, looking back to the quarterback, he drifts upfield. So maybe even if Herndon were to be a little bit tighter to him at this point, he drifts up the field and he continues to cut this off just laterally, and it doesn't work vertically, then Darnold can throw the ball over his head as well. So we want to see him have his eyes onto the tight end as well here as he breaks. So little tiny things. Again, just a hop of hesitation too much right there. takes him or puts him in a bad spot versus Chris Herndon. But Kwon tackle for loss. Okay, hopefully some good stuff now. I started off with 4 negatives, I believe, but it gets better, like I said. So he's middle, the middle linebacker right here, Mike. Yeah, now he's hit or miss in the run game. He's not terrible in the run game. I thought he was going to be worse than he was in the run game. From what I watched, I would say overall, based on his salary and what he's making for the Jets, I was more impressed with this film than I thought I would be. Now, obviously, a part of that is injuries too. So you're paying him assuming he's going to get injured for a few games, and there are times where he triggers wrong in the run game, where he takes a false step, or his eye segments to the wrong spot, of course. But then there are times where he sees a gap open, he has flexibility, he's going to shoot said gap. Now, for the Jets, they're running inside zone, tight zone. Yes, there are 2 combos, but just because there's 2 combos does not mean it's a duo run. So it's called inside zone. Kwon obviously triggers on. I think he's reading quarterback to running back. At least when I see him react, it seems like more running back than offensive line. So I don't know if he's allowed to key. I'm not sure exactly what they're telling him to key on, but to me, it seemed more like running back, quarterback when I watch him. But sees Darnold's back, pushes up the field. Okay, is also noticing there is a very large gap in the A gap. I see the quarterback's back. I see a skinny track by the running back. I'm going to shoot my shot. So certain guys are going to do that. Certain guys are not going to. But with this action, with this relationship, again, just gap, quarterback, running back, let's try to shoot that, So presses down towards said gap. And now, to me, the hesitation is I think he's waiting to see if the ball is actually handed off. If not, he probably drop back into coverage, wherever he's got to do. But he wants to confirm that the ball is handed off, which it is. Shoots the gap. We're going to see him just dip his shoulder past GVR, reducing himself. Again, I'll just reducing that contact area that he wants to, which is the chest. So he wants to reduce that. Does it. Meets Gore in the backfield, wraps him up, rolls him. You got to roll those ankles, bring him down. But hell of a job by Kwon shooting that gap. I'll watch it in full speed. I think we already did, but nonetheless, it's a good play. And it's fun to see Jets who aren't on the team anymore get beat, GVR, of course, comes off with bad timing. Gore can't break a tackle. Just all that stuff. It's fun. It's not fun even seeing Darnold throw passes for the Jets is just like it's horrifying now. Kwon green hug, okay. So he's right here. So I'm assuming green dog. So basically, running back stays into block, you blitz, or they call it you call it a hug rush too. He stays in the block, you blitz. If not, if he leaks out, you match him. Beaten coverage there too from that, and we there are times where you're going to see him in this review. I believe green dog or hug rush and actually get there, but with hug rushing, you have to be cognizant of the route of the receiver. That's the first thing you want to do. You're not blitzing first. Your coverage first, then blitz if you confirm that he's not running a route. So I think he presses down, is waiting to see if the running back runs a route. But with that being said, what does he need? He just needs more patience with his feet, because once I'm okay with him closing ground to 33, potentially because he's I'm not sure if Kwon thinks he's coming to block me, I'm gonna blow him up, or if he thinks he's running a route. But nonetheless, you have to be prepared for both, and we're seeing him come downhill, but with big hoppy footwork. Again, we want to stay connected to the ground. Ideally, we don't ever want hops. We don't want this, because it's not going to allow him to react to the burst by the running back, right? So he gets beat there. I think he gets caught peeking a little bit inside and anticipating, I'm going to get to the quarterback. Running back runs a route, which is your primary responsibility. He gets beat pretty badly there. Obviously, the ball is completed elsewhere, but Kwon needs to play that better, because that could have been bad for him. Kwon tackle, okay. He's right here, 56. Again, so the thing is, he's not the most powerful guy. They're just running trap. Yeah, they're running trap and wham. Try to hit this gap right here, which they do pretty nicely. Kwon is in a situation where it's blocked up really, really well by the Eagles. It's pretty much blocked up as perfectly as they could have drew it up. And Quan's never gonna be the guy to absolutely blow up an offensive lineman with just straight power, but he shocks them with aggressiveness at the point of attack. So like he'll typically either pop a guy up and move laterally, or just pop them in general and just stick his helmet into their chest, and it could surprise some guys. So 62 climbs to his level, being one of the actually better offensive linemen in the league, and Kelsey, and he reads the running back, sees the running back is taking more of an inside track, takes the fight to Kelsey, again, splashes him, works laterally, clears the inside half, wraps up the running back, rolls him. Again, not an easy spot to be in a phone booth with Kelsey and the running back is working right behind his ass, and you pop him up and make the tackle. It's a good play. Again, am I saying Quan is CJ Mosley a couple years ago? No, but at this very moment, is Quan probably better, or is Quan a better player than Quincy Williams? Yes. Do I think the Jets probably give Quincy Williams the leg up because he's a younger guy? Yes, but I could see Quan being that number 2 linebacker. So for $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million, whatever the hell it is, you're getting a player who's a lot better than, even if not Quincy, a lot better than Sherwood and Hamsah and Marcel Harris and Delshon Phillips, right? So Quan tackle for loss. I just brought this up because it looks to me like they're lag teching here, where they're going to step with the offensive line they're stepping with, and they're going to press the backside shoulder, so it acts like a 2 gap, but you have lag and you have push tech, which pushes the front side shoulder, lag is the backside shoulder. You're going to hold up that, but you're still 2 gapping. So I just put that in here, just a question mark, like, okay, did they lag? And it could just be how the play is, where both guys are just supposed to be slanting to the inside. That could be easily possible as well, where they're supposed to be slanting to the inside. They get caught up by a double team, but could be that, or it could be, or to me, it looks like they're attacking the backside shoulder to their right. But again, it could be slanting. Just brought it up as a question mark. Did they lag ever in San Francisco? I have to watch more and really see, especially not in double team situations. Double team situations, it's hard because they could just be trying to take on one guy. So they're stepping towards that what they think is the high man and taking on that inside shoulder, trying to reduce away from the guy who's going to overtake the block. It could be that as well. But again, that's just how my own mind works. That's that. I'm getting a little bit into a dark realm with that conversation. I'd have to watch more. But if they did that, I don't know why Foley wasn't doing it, unless they're trying to implement the system. But he's right here, and it's another situation where he's to me, he's king on the backfield, and it could be a combination of both. There could be guys who stare at the backfield, but in their peripheral vision are going to observe the offensive line, just the general movement of them. There may be guys who stare at the offensive line and get the general movement of the of the backfield. But again, another situation where, similar to the Jets game, he sees open gap, he sees quarterbacks back, and potentially the running back as well. But I think it's this relationship. He's going to shoot downhill on that. Shoots downhill on that. Again, and as he pushes through the gap, I think there's a little bit of hesitation, just confirming the running back is cutting towards him. Again, dip the shoulder, reduce, and we're seeing him throw a little bit of that chicken wing. That chicken wing, again, almost like a rip. It's just blocking. It's literally just blocking your chest away from the offensive lineman who's supposed to be coming over the top to obviously try to impede you. So good job with that, pushing through that again, and a little bit of power through that, right? Like, you have an offensive lineman who's leaning on you. Kwon he's athletic, man. Like, for him to be able to push through this gap with an offensive lineman on his back, hold up, and then still get on the running back. He's an athlete. I like Kwon. I do. It is a quality signing. And it's gonna be so great because this is my last one, and I was gonna turn off my computer, upload this, and be done until today's August 2nd. Be done for 10 days until the preseason game. Even though, again, I'm assuming they're gonna sign an offensive lineman, but now I got to record 2 back-to-back shows today, a Wednesday show and a Thursday show. Kyle knows how pissed I am. I texted Kyle, so Kyle he literally ruined my night. So I know you're watching this. You ruined my night. You should have never let me, or told me, and we could have just posted on the website, and I could have been talking on mute the entire time. maybe people would have been nice, unlike you, and would have let me talk to myself in mute land. So I've seen him do this a couple times where I could at least gather that they're roboting with him, where they're allowing him to press up and again, there are guys who you're not going to allow to robot. There are guys who you're going to allow to robot, and guys are going to react to or they're going to react to the run game, but they're going to be in their zone drops and just backpedal. But with Kwon, it seemed like a technique they allowed him to do where he's going to press up towards the line of scrimmage, and then he's going to, if he is like that middle backer, typically it's with like hook zones, it's with hook and hole where you're allowed to do it. So he's just going to open. He's going to press it towards the run. He's going to turn around, sprint backwards, looking for any crossers. Strong side to play side or typically strong side to weak side first. But if he sees anything matching across the middle, he's going to match said route. So again, it could just be okay. He reacted really hard, and that's what he wants to do is robot, like or they're teaching him to robot, but. It's a good job by Kwon right here. Again, pushing up the field, and then he sees the vertical, the more vertical route across the middle to the strong side. Okay, so he's gonna get underneath of that, right? Because that is threatening. That's starting to threaten his own, especially with an inside track. So he does a good job matching it. He actually checks the quarterback to see if the ball is out. 84 continues on the route, and he cuts it off at a perfect angle, right to it. It's a good job. I think so. To me, initially, or at least for the best product on the field, Kwon is in the 4-2-5 and passing down situations. Now, if you're even going to run a 4-2-5, but you're going to have more emphasis on the run, because you can run 4-2-5 against the run game as well. If you're going to have more emphasis, or if it's more of a running down situation, put Quincy in. I'm okay with that. But for passing downs, I'm much more comfortable with Kwon. So we'll see. Exit to flat, check deep. Okay. He's right here. My dog's been outside for like however long now, since you guys seen him for how. And the problem is, so I just got a new vinyl fence put in, so the entire perimeter of my yard is just dirt, because again, I had to rip up the grass, and all he does is sniff the perimeter of the yard. So he comes in with muddy paws all the time. So I got to wash his freaking paws pretty much every time he comes in the house. It's a pain in the ass having a puppy sometimes, but it's little things that he does in coverage that I do legitimately like here. And again, he's tired to the box. There's no reason for him to be in the curl to flat right now, right? Like if that were the case, people would just run tight sets all the time, just run the ball, because you're taking guys out of the box because they can't press down on you. If you are running tighter formations. So he's right here, and initially there's some play action. After the play action, he sees the quarterback booting out to his side. He has to get into an exit angle to the flat. He gets into the exit angle. The thing I really like about this is he's cognizant that there's a threat out to the, at least to me. He's cognizant of a threat to the outside. Initially, he doesn't have eyes on him, but once he exits to the flat, we see him check it to see if there's anything else there. And I think he's okay. This is vertical, so the outside third's matching it, which I believe is Verrett right now. Verrett's going to match that. So I just have to. Again, continue to do on my exit angle into the flat. And if anything obviously threatens my zone, I'm going to match that. This threatens his zone. Starts to not match it necessarily, but gear down to stay over top of it. Gears down. He cuts up field, gives him a little pop. We like that. It's little things. It's just him getting to the exit angle right here and then checking. There's a lot of guys who panic. Him just checking right there. It means something to me. And then at this point, okay, we record that. And then does he continue to do stuff like that? Or was that just a one-off thing? Which to me, he continued to do stuff like that. When he comes in, so I just saw him pass, I'm going to show you his feet, because I just saw him walk by and his feet are black. All right. He's right here. Quan exit angle, eyes, tackle. Either of you guys were like, I hate him Because like this is one of those shows where I've already bitched about having to do the shows again. And now I'm bitching about my dogs. You guys either love my misery or you're like, this dude is terrible, I'm turning him off. But either way, it's my life right now. So these right here. Eggs angle, eyes tackle. Okay. No, similar thing right here, right? And it's little. It is little, but we have another situation where he is in that curl to flat, or that curl to flat, but because the formation is so tight, he's going to stay tight. No reason for him to be out there. So motions inside, he shuffles inside as well, reads the run action. Okay, obviously is starting to read. There's crossing routes. This is not going to be a run. You can see him gearing down right here because he's, peripheral vision, whatever. He sees routes coming out, gets into his exit angle. And again, gets into his exit angle, but he checks. He checks the flat, okay? Did he sit it short? Is this guy not on him? Whatever. He's on him. Continues into his exit angle. Short catch on first down. Okay, he's still behind the sticks. Now make your way to him. Outside in, outside in, outside in. Make the tackle. Again, he breaks down nicely. He's under his feet, or his feet are under him. Cuts to the outside, but he's able to drag him down for the tackle. So it's a good job. Hold on. Ready? Can we see the paws? You see they're black? Hold on. Just give me a second to all the people on the stream. I just got to pause it. All right. We're back. For now. Yeah, so okay, we discussed this play already. Getting into his exit angle, again, checks vertical, which I like. Matches the threat, again, breaks down, makes a tackle, all a good play. All right, next. Kwon. Tackle. I just don't prefer my phone cord to get chewed on. Okay, so he is right here, middle of the field on the hash. It lags at the beginning. I didn't really recognize it lagged when I recorded this, but nonetheless, we have Kwon who follows the action of the offensive line, follows the action of the jet sweep, follows the action of the running back, eventually realizes, okay, that's all a hoax. He's going to shoot through the A gap, continue to assess what's going on. Obviously defeats the block of the running back, just laterally getting his hands on, eventually finds the ball carrier and is able to at least chase him down to the sideline. He gets tackled, but I like the eyes right here. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and for him to push up the field and still be in a position to make the tackle, let's say if this were to be broken, it's a good play. So I like the fact he's able to find the running back right there. Kwon man running back smooth. Okay. He's right here. Again, it's a good job by him. He's in man coverage, stepping down on his threat. Again, he leverages himself inside pretty heavily. So when you're doing that, I'm okay with doing that when you're at a certain vertical plane. Once he presses up the field like this, and you guys are closer, or they're closer, and they have this relationship. Yes, is he far inside? Is he angling off to the outside? Sure. Because he's betting on the outside move. So he's angled himself off to open up to match that. But he does it with heavy inside leverage. Whereas because of their vertical relationship, if the running back were to cut across his face, yes, he's opened up, but he's so far inside that he can flip his hips and match that break. So he's like hedging his bets. If you're going to do this from 5 yards off, different story. Close, because it's going to be hard for him to cross your face or cross Quan's face before he matches just pushing up the field. Farther off, he has more room to do so. So I don't like it as much. But when you're closer like this, I'm okay with it. Running back breaks outside, break. He breaks. Again, you can see that explosion right there to match. Gets hands on, matches the running back. Again, easy rep, or not easy rep, relatively simple rep, but just smooth. You can see how in control he is right there. Again, hedging his bets inside or outside, but with good leverage inside. It's all a good play. Quan tackle. Okay. He's right here. 56. Notice which situation keying on the backfield, and if he is keying on the offensive line, what is he seeing? Two pullers. Okay, they're most likely going to. Obviously, there could be a distraction, but most likely they're going to the play side as they run this counter OF. Follows the blocks, presses downhill. What does he encounter? Okay, running back who's blocking a little bit too flat. He notices that, plus running back cutting up the field. And it's just little stuff. Him dipping that shoulder right there, again, reduces the contact window. He does not want to get landed in the chest. If somebody's going to hit him, shoulders, back, things like that. So good job just dipping at that last second to reduce, pushing through, getting on the tackle. It's a good play, right? Take it. Kwon sack trigger aware. I'm having like PTSD just going through this. I'm like, is my voice getting picked up right now by the computer? Because if not, I don't know. You're just not going to get the last 4 reviews, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it. But sack trigger aware. Okay. He's right here. 56. And this is just being aware of what you have around you on defense. I would hope that in a situation like this where he's dropping into his zone, obviously after play action, again, he knows what's around him. So this is pushing up the field. He's obviously not matching that initially because the guy who is deeper is going to match that. Or to see him communicate with another defender as he starts to see that the ball is not handed off. He gets into his eggs angle. I'm assuming into his hook to curl. 27 kind of presses a little bit inside. We're seeing some communication during the snap, him telling him to push, I'm assuming to the flat, because he pushes him to the flat, and now the running back breaks into the flat. He knows the defender is there. He just pointed his defender there, so he does not have to match this. So now what he should be worrying about is really only this, if it were to continue towards him, and the quarterback. So this is his read. Quarterback presses up the field. He knows his defenders are around him to pick up other, the defenders to his left, and he's going to shoot a shot. That's all it is. It's really good awareness. That's actually really good awareness. Let's not lie. Pushing the vertical, again, letting another guy pushing him to the flat, knowing the running back is his responsibility, seeing the quarterback, realizing he can trigger and get to him. It's a good play. It's a good football play for sure. Quan zone pass off reroute. Okay, he's right here. The near linebacker. Again, little things in coverage aren't always the sexiest, but they typically, if you're playing good coverage, you're not going to get targeted, right? So we have to talk about the good plays. If it's a play where he's getting targeted, it's probably not a good thing, right? So, yeah. So again, it's pretty quick with this one, but he's dropping into what looks like just a hook to curl. They're playing like they're not playing like a true red 2, but they're playing again. Honestly, it could be cover 6, it could be 4, it could be a bunch of different things. But for him, he's in that hook to curl. And with that, he is going to match really the number 2 here. And the number 2 becomes the number 1. Number 1 becomes number 2 and works his way to Kwon. Kwon's not going to match that because, again, he's not matching the number 1. If they switch releases, okay. Assess who's the new number 2. He works towards that. He's working a little bit flatter initially. Notices the exchange here. pushes it more vertical, gets hands-on, reroutes, knows he has a defender deep, right? And when you have guys pushing vertical, there's usually guys pushing underneath of them. So pass that off, not your threat anymore. Get square to the quarterback, see where he's looking. This is picked up, that's picked up, reassess. So again, it's just a really good job of just quickly just passing things off, getting a reroute, not necessarily carrying that, but looking for more threats because you're passing it off to another deep defender. So it's a good zone play right there by Kwon. Kwon trigger fill gap. Okay. Right here. Again, he's on the strong side of this play. And you're going to get completely that sometimes when he's on the strong side. Sometimes you're going to get him over pursuing, maybe taking a bad angle, reading the wrong thing, which I guess it doesn't happen as much as some people said it does because he's not. I'm not highlighting it, too much, but again, not again. I would say again, like we've already watched this play. To me, I guess it's again, but offensive line, zone stepping, he's reading the zone. Again, being pretty patient, just trying to determine where the running back is cutting to. He doesn't want to necessarily declare immediately. I don't know why. But widens, sees the running back's track and or sees number 66 climbing towards him. So he just going to either he notices the running back and he pushes there, or the lineman is climbing towards him, so he pushes that way anyway, and the running back ends up being there. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, he saw the running back cutting there. Has to cross the offensive lineman's face, obviously, because he's trying to throw that punch to get in on that block. Kwon, good job with the chop. Chop, gears down, to make the tackle. Obviously, the running back is going to try to cut inside of Kwon. Gears down. Some Seattle tackling, wrapping up the thighs, scooping. See, there's a scoop type of tackling too. That's cool. That's a good tackle. It's actually hell of a tackle. Scoop him up, drive him. Good play. Again, his trigger, bang, getting there, like reading it, confirming it. It's like reading, confirming. Oh, I'm shooting it right there with that step. Angle to get away from him. Chop, wrap up. That's a really good play, right? Let's play 17, 18, and then right after this one, we're going right into do another backup guard review. Cheers. I get excited by backup guards too. It's just not to do them twice. 56, trigger through gap right here. I thought he was better and more impactful with the Niners than with the Saints, but I don't know. The Saints, I feel like they were asking him to be a little bit more like they're asking him to be a stand-up linebacker with the Niners. The Saints, and I would have to chart it to really like get a full grasp of it. But the Saints, I felt like they were moving him around as a chess piece more, like as a blitzer and things like that. Where I don't necessarily want him to do like I think he's not as a blitzer. You can use him as a blitzer to stand-up linebacker. They used him as like an edge rush blitz too often for me because he doesn't have great pass rush moves. Like Devin Lloyd, he's gonna be a stand-up linebacker who has the ability to pass rush as like a legitimate edge threat. Kwon is a stand-up linebacker with good stand-up blitzing ability, not good edge blitzing ability, if you feel what I'm saying. Kwon trigger through gap. He's right here. So he doesn't end up making the tackle, but obviously he disrupts the play. And, whether it be just by him or the coaches give him the freedom, he shoots gaps ridiculously quickly at times. And what he sees is exactly what happened. It's not exactly what he sees is not exactly what happens. That doesn't make sense. But what he sees is block, combo, open gap, this going away. He's going to shoot the gap. Like that's the 4-3. You have a lot of flexibility. Or it depends on how much coaches give you the flexibility to shoot gaps. But clearly Kwon has that capability. And he sees the open gap, shoots it. Now I like his kind of awareness of spacing right here too. It's just something little, but do you notice? And it is big. This is where I talk about there's a gap space awareness in terms of just getting through them. Where there are guys right here who will completely or stride. Like, you see how he hop steps? Watch, right, instep, pushes through. There are guys who would step right, left, right, and then they'll be on top of his foot and fall. Like, that happens. Gap space awareness is definitely a thing. Something I probably talked about a little bit, maybe more recently than I have in the past, but you learn new things. Maybe not every day. I try to learn new things at least like once a week. Terminology, new, just even refreshing course, like watching just an inside zone refresher, like the simplest things. But they're good to watch. So I like the spatial awareness, hop step, push through. Again, he notices he might be coming into contact with this guy, getting his hands up to, again, keep himself clean. Push towards the running back. Now, is this a block in the back? Let's be positive, green goggles, and say, yeah, block in the back. And he misses the tackle because of it, but he forced him to bubble out into another tackler. Sorry for all the dog talk, but that was a dog barking across the street. My dog's starting to hear him, and he's going to reciprocate said barking, but hopefully not. So if he does, I'll pause. If he just continues to do those little half-ass weenie dog barks, then I won't. But hey, chill, buddy. Okay. I don't know. Kwon, good read. 56 right here. 56 right here. I have like one of those dogs across the street that like every single time I get out of my car, the dog is always outside, always barks. You walk your house, bark. Get in your car, bark. Mailman, bark. It's just like this mother. And my dog's starting to be a little asshole now too. So, but good read right here, 56. Again, like he could be a little bit boomer bust in the run game here, but we're seeing some good plays, right? Like I don't think he's a guy who's incapable of playing the run. And it's interesting. Like the Jets have so many boomer bust run defenders, and I think I've been bringing this up just recently. But Solomon Thomas, boomer bust. Quincy Williams can be a little bit boomer bust. Kwon, boomer bust. Jordan Whitehead, boomer bust. Past that. Sheldon Rankins, boomer bust. Nathan Shepard, boomer bust. Jonathan Marshall, boomer bust. So I think the Jets are just relying on one of these guys to boom every play, one or two of these guys out of the 7-8 defenders they have that are boomer bust, and hopefully it just works out. Like there's so many players here. Like I feel like the Jets are either going to get let up an 8-yard run or it's going to be a 3-yard tackle for loss. Like there's no in between. Obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, but right here again notices. I think again this is why I think he's key on the quarterback, because if he were to be key on the running back or the offensive line, he would probably step to the left, but I think he keys in the quarterback and the running back because he sees the track of the quarterback, which obviously is going to, it's not, the run's not going opposite of this. So it's going towards his side. Keys on that, steps downhill. And again, I think he knows he has another linebacker to his backside. So he's going to fill his side. So he has faith in Warner to play this gap right here. He follows the lead blocker, which again is a good key, is key to where the running back is going, typically. So he's going to follow that to the, C gap, D gap, presses down, confirms that he's going there. As soon as he confirms he's going there, we're going to see him identify that, trigger downhill. Makes a tackle. Obviously, Warner does too. Warner's a stud. Even watching him in 2020 in passing, like you just notice how freaking good the guy is. So, yeah, Quan tackle right here. Okay, now we're going to some Saints territory. He's the stand-up linebacker right here. Simple, right? I'm assuming this is short yardage situation. Presses up the field, uphill, down, up the field and down the field. I guess this is up and this is down the field. Like, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I always screw up the field and down. I don't really care. But he gets downhill. Let's say I'm gonna try to. I never like even process that up the field, up downhill, but up, down the field, whatever. He presses up the field. Or he gets downhill. See, like you hit downhill and downhill. It just doesn't make any sense. He presses the line of scrimmage. Obviously reading run action with a combo right here. reads that run action, sees the open gap, and shoots it. And now I'm assuming, again, it's short yardage because there are some times where combo and you want to play a little bit over top of the combo because he could be cutting on either side of that combo. But the last thing you want to be on a short yardage situation is hesitant. So he shoots the open gap right here. The running back, unfortunately for him, or yeah, fortunately for Kwon, unfortunately for the running back jump cuts directly into where Kwon's shooting. Kwon sees that, drops his shoulder, wraps up, makes a tackle. So it's a good job. Kwon reroute tackle. Okay. He's right here to the passing strength. It's just good. It's just a good job in zone. Just passing things off. So they're dropping into a Tampa 2, and he's playing curl to flat. Yep, playing curl to flat. So when this goes vertical, and this guy starts to break to the outside, the number 3 becomes his threat because again he's not necessarily going to match vertical. Now he probably would match vertical if there wasn't a number 3 threat, but he has to read that. So again, this didn't exist. He carries. He probably plays trail underneath of it, carrying it to the number to the deep half. If there's number 3, he has to match that as he has to be cognizant of that if this goes vertical, because if this got carried, he breaks out. If these two get carried, he breaks out. It's open, but with it going to a vertical, you're going to pass it off to the safety. That's going to be his responsibility. And if not the safety's responsibility, if he starts to bend it inside, that's going to be 56. That's going to be Davis. So he's going to match the number 3 as he breaks out. But again, with that being said, he gets into his exit angle. He gets a nice reroute again, and it's nothing. He doesn't completely jam him up, but he makes him bow his route out enough, again, just to give that safety maybe a split more second to react. So passes that off. Hurts throws it to the out. Again, he gets 3-4 yards here, but Kwon triggers downhill, takes a good angle to meet him to the outside. Helmet crosses body, not behind his body. Wrap him up, bring him down for the tackle. Yeah, he allowed 3 yards. That's fine. We're taking 3 yards on 2nd and 10 all day. 4 yards, whatever we want to call it. So, all right. Next 22 out of 37. Something like that. Tell you guys now that finishing, there was that Kwon the Jacob Martin and Whitehead reviews later this week are going to feel even that much better because I thought they were done already. But finishing it for the second time, it's going to feel great. Quan effort versus 29 save TD. Oh, okay. Yeah. This was relatively recently where I recorded this, so I recognize what happened here. And the only thing I want to highlight here is this. And this is just an effort thing. So whatever the defense is, doesn't really matter. I could tell you at the point where he catches the ball, we have both 29 and 5. 29 is a good, let's say 3 yards closer, even though it's probably closer to 4 or 5 yards closer to the ball. Watch his effort. Watch Quan's effort. Quan saved the touchdown right there. Yeah, he's at the 1 yard line. Cool. Maybe they scored. Maybe they didn't. We've seen situations where teams get it down to the 1 yard line, 2 yard line. Jets versus the Bengals and make the stop. But that effort means something, I think, to the coaching staff. Even 26 gears down, not really running towards it. See, Quan effort saves a touchdown. So now we have Quan shoot push tech. So we had a lag tech before, push tech here. At least that's what it looks like. Again, it's hard to necessarily always confirm that. Could be 2 guys slanting, but I see 2 guys reacting to zone steps, taking on the front side shoulder, which is a push technique. Again, they could just be trying to stand up and they step with the play, but can't guarantee it. Looks like it to me. So push technique. Quan, again, reads run action. 63 is climbing to him, so he has to make a decision quickly. Shoots. 63 climbing to him, which is Kelsey, who is obviously or sorry, 62 climbing to him. Kelsey, obviously a good player, doesn't want to let him get his hands on him. Drops his hips, explodes off the instep, reduces a little. Actually, he chops that. He's good. And I put this in his strengths and weaknesses. He's good at crossing the face of offensive linemen with active hands. This is one of those situations. Crosses his face, doesn't want to get caught. We're going to see him purposely chop that hand of the offensive lineman, chop the hand, find the running back, get his shoulder in there, and get in on the tackle. And good job, right? You know, this is a good play. Kwon, good pass rep. All right. He's right here. He's pressed the line of scrimmage. So he gets beat here. At least for this first down. But I'm gonna take the coverage every time. This is a play where, again, process good, result not necessarily good. But for Kwon, they're dropping into it's a fire zone blitz, or it's not a zone. It might not even be a zone. Doesn't look like a zone. To me, it's man coverage. It's just risky man coverage where they're blitzing man over the top. And they're just putting their two linebackers inside, assuming that if it's going to be thrown short because of the blitz, that they're going to cut off those routes to the inside. If it's going to be short, they're going to be inside routes, but it's risky. Unless you're just walling that off, I don't. It looks like man, and then they're putting him over the top of one because he has to take an exit angle to get to the outside. So if it is thrown quickly, the deep half will press down on it, but he has to be aware of that as he's rotating to the cover two defense while he's pushing towards him. Kwon's in again. Let's call it man verse 88, which I think it is. Again, it's just sketchy. But it makes sense, okay? The only thing he's threatening to him right now is vertical into the outside. He's rotating from that, so he has to be cognizant of the quarterback throwing that ball. If so, he presses down, but he matches underneath. Kwon on Goddard. Again, patient with his feet. We see him right here. He adjusts his angle a little bit to get more vertical. Is not running full speed. We're seeing him run at 80 speed. He's just matching it. Again, guys would panic at this point and be running full speed. We see him gear down. When Goddard gears down, gets hands on the hip. Again, trying to dictate a little bit. Trying to dictate the route. Hand on. And Goddard just does a hell of a job coming back to the ball right there and cutting off Kwon. It's a good play by Kwon, though. I'm not going to give him shit for that. It is what it is. Again, match him, good angle to get vertical. Patient, goes to play the ball. Luckily, does he wrap the hip and all that stuff? No, but he thinks he's going to get a pick there. Goddard does, again, hell of a job undercutting him, bringing the ball in. But I'm not going to kill Kwon. The only thing, maybe ball skills, fine. Everything else was good. Kwon back-to-back run games. I'm assuming neither. Usually when I do back-to-back, it's like, the first one was okay, the second one was okay, but paired together, okay, it's two back-to-back okay plays, which makes it good, right? He's right here, obviously. Kwon 5. Okay. And this is just him just being pretty patient, following the action. Again, I think he's keying more in on like the skill players here than the offensive line, because he's following the sifter, which sometimes I can get you in trouble following the sifter, but he follows it. Keys in the backfield is just reading the running back at this point. Maybe he follows the sift into the exchange point, follows the running back, sees an open gap to the backside, shoots it again, a little club, or like two swipes or two chops, whatever you want to call that. Works past the offensive lineman, sits, Gets in on the hit. Nothing crazy right here. Nothing crazy. Second play, line up to the right here, number 5. Similar thing. I like just reading the backfield. He just reading the track, which is always like the track is at least always gonna take you to the right spot initially, but you better hope he doesn't bounce it to a gap you don't expect. But follows the track of the running back. Again, I believe that's what he's keying on. Follows it, follows him, gets lateral. Now you like to see him get cross his helmet there, but nonetheless, it's good job following the ball and just staying lateral, and then exploding when he needs to. But again, he's not coming in out of control into that tackle. So that's good. Kwon screen stuff. Okay. He's right here. So now they're dropping into what looks like it's going to be a 3 robber. And with that, he is responsible for the curl to flat. So as the play develops, he starts to get into his curl to flat. At a certain point, he notices, okay, this isn't a route. He's trying to get to the outside to block me. He's just delaying a little bit because it's a screen. Dictates to him, hands on him, extension, find the receiver. Actually, I think he looks back to the quarterback. I think he looks back to the quarterback, sees the ball's not there, and then finds the receiver right there. Like, he's not looking at the receiver initially. You see his eyes inside? Sees him. Oh, shit. Adjust. Explodes. Dives. Gets his hand on him, which brings him down. So it's a good job. It's a good job noticing the block. His eyes may initially go into the wrong spot, but he finds the ball. He finds it for the tackle. Quan INT. This is tipped. I don't think this is anything really that great on him, but he's right here. It's a good job passing off. That's why he's there. So another situation where he's an intermediate zone defender. Looks like they're running another Tampa too. So he's at hook to curl. So he's playing the hook. Obviously a seam route. We're going to push that vertical, or we're going to pass it off vertical to the deep half. And if not the deep half, the Tampa defender should be trying to match that in the seam anyway, which is exactly what he does, because that's what cover 2 is weak against, these 2 vertical routes. But Tampa 2 takes away that inside vertical, so he passes off nicely, sits in the zone. Now, the only thing we could say is maybe we want to see him match this a little bit earlier, but maybe he's hedging his bets again, more of like a spot drop and just trying to play both. Not sure why this defender doesn't pick him up, but that's the story for a different day. Josh Allen throws the ball, gets deflected, gets hit, whatever. The ball pops up and flutters a little bit. Kwon tracks it, dives, pick. Nice. 28, Kwon versus screen. Okay. He's right here. Yep. Yeah, he's right there. And we have range, right? So press up the field initially. Now, I don't know if this is like a tag rush where if he gets picked up, he's dropping back into coverage, which at this point you still think he would rush because he gets picked up initially, but then he doesn't. So maybe he continue to rush. But again, I don't know their exact rules. I think he starts to rush. He sees Dak Prescott's body language, look immediately to the right side, and realizes the screen is coming. So that's more what it is to me. Push up the field. Oh shit, a screen is coming. Follow it. Find it. You can see him looking towards where it is. Good angle again to cut off where he's going, not where he is. Angle to where he's going. Dives, makes a big hit. That's a play to be excited about. Kwon stuff. Okay. Yeah, Kwon stuff. I was thinking, I was like, after I'm done with the show, do I just go to the next show, or do I stop it, and then download the show and see if it worked. I think I'm going to see if it worked, because if I do 2 shows and they don't record and they didn't record audio, I'm telling you right now, if it's not recording my audio, I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit, because I'm going to need a new computer. Right here, number 5. I tested it before though, so it better work. Again, like, this is another good play, man. I think I got to move him up a little bit. It's another one of those situations. So keys on whether it be the running back. It looks like it's more backfield. Again, you could see he's staring at the quarterbacks, kind of at the quarterback. I think he's seeing more quarterback running back when he's reading than it is offensive line. And I don't know exactly if some systems allow you to and some don't. I'm going to assume that if players are comfortable with certain things, their coaches are going to allow him to do so. So keys steps towards the play side, which is keyed off by everything, or every key is showing that. Presses the line of scrimmage. Obviously 68's climbing, so he has to decide quickly. 66 takes an angle that's way to the outside there. Again, it's more of an inside mid zone. Why is he taking a track so wide? Nonetheless, Kwon, he's in the running back, sees the cutback. He's in the running back, sees the cutback. He wants to push towards that, and when he sees that cutback, what does he see now? He's gonna shoot his shot right here. He's cutting towards this gap. It's open. Kwon trusts his athleticism enough. Shoot through that. Even avoid some traffic right here. We're going to see him kind of make that near leg light, right? Get around it. Dive. Make the tackle. Another play to be excited about for Kwon. Kwon match threats. Okay. I think I only have a few games of him versus the Jets last year. But he's right here. Again, 1, 2, 3, right? Like this is where I talk about, like, okay, passing routes off when you're in your zone drop, and initially he matches the 3. That pushes vertical. Okay, that's not my assignment anymore. Matches the new 3. I'm assuming the 3 matches the new 3. Cutting off. Now he's not going to match it all the way to the side of the field. Obviously, there are some situations where you would, but when there's a bunch of different routes in your zone, you're not going to. He's going to pass it off to Davis. Again, he notices the crosser underneath of that. So 3 becomes a 2, matches a new 3. That 3 becomes whatever else on the other side of the field. Again, good job noticing it early. This is not delayed. He notices that crosser coming underneath early on that check down, really, really early. Pushes them to pass them off. Drive, match that. Get on that route. That's really good, just smooth, just 1, 2, 3, passing off. 1, 2, 3. Right? That's really, really good. Kwon pass off PD. Okay. He's right here. Hold on. You got a text from my lieutenant if I want to work Saturday for him. Really rather not work double on Saturday night, which is the busiest night of the week. Man. Never ends. And I think I owe a guy a day next week too, or I'm working a day next week for him, which I was on one of the shows where he texted me. I think I was talking about it, but I was on mute anyway. But now I have 2 days in the next week, which means 2 Jets games I get to go to. He's gonna wait a minute though, because I'm gonna hope somebody else texts him back earlier. But he's right here. Kwon pass off PD. Oh, so they run. I don't know if he just rounds that out, but it's very similar to like a drive concept, with the inside going on that dig, on that crosser, and the number 1 going on that shallow, the drag. So Kwon, again, another good job just passing it off. two pushes vertical past your plane, especially with another route coming into your plane. So pass it off. You're not matching it vertically. You're in that hook zone, that hook to curl. Underneath of you, match that. Get onto the route, and he tries to deflect the ball, but he doesn't really. So, again, good job passing it off. Active eyes, reroute, cut off that route, get your eyes on Brady, sit on it. Now, again, he tries to get the pass. Now, maybe we can call this, pass interference, but, the ball is just thrown low, and he tries to get over top to deflect the ball. Maybe it's a PI, maybe, whatever. That's that either way I could see that being called. Kwon sit backside, shoot when confirmed. Okay. Use right here. So in this case, the run is going away from him. At least initially, he thinks the run is going away from him. Which it is. Sorry, it is. It's outside zone. Obviously, the running back is forced to cut back, whatever, or not forced, but whatever he's reading tells him to cut back. Kwon does a good job just sitting backside. Again, he doesn't necessarily want to shoot aggressively to the play side right here, because if this is a play action, if he throws this ball out to, this offensive player, he's going to be responsible for that. So he has to sit backside. And once he really confirms it, then okay, he could shoot, but he still wants to shoot with being backside conscious. So, he's delayed a little bit, but I think that's again because of that action pulling him. And if there is a cutback, he has to be able to fill the backside gaps. So, but now at this point, he confirms that the running back has the ball, confirms the running back's cutting back to his side, shoots up the field, outside in, again, knowing that he doesn't want to shoot too shallow or too vertical, because then this guy can, the running back can potentially cut outside, even though right here it'd be hard for him to shoot too vertical. So he shoots just at a good general angle outside in, forces the cut back in, but he still dives, makes a tackle. So good job. Again, just sitting backside and confirming. Getting downhill, breaking down. It's a good job. Quan, green dog. Okay. He's right here. Green dog. Hell of a job doing it as well. But we're going to see him press up the field, but towards the running back. Running back starts to motion inside as they're running, like just like it looks like a two-jet protection. He matches the running back. You see him match the running back. At this point, I think he confirms that the running back is okay. He's going to block. There's a lot of movement in the pocket. I'm going to shoot my shot. Shoots his shot. Gets in on the is it a sack? I don't know if it's technically a sack. Yeah, I guess it's technically a sack, right? Yep. So good job green dogging. Good job matching. Good job pulling the trigger when you realize he's going to block. Quan forced fumble. Okay. Right here. So initially he reading the backfield, sees the screen, pushes hard outside for the screen. Now it's a really tough spot. He wants to contain him to the inside, so he has to push up the field. Yeah, he gets blocked. You're not going to be able to defeat every block. Here, maybe could he chop down instead of just giving him a shoulder? Sure, but he kind of has to race him to that spot again, forcing the cutback. So it is what it is. Forces the cutback. Now again, doesn't give up on the play. Continues to chase the running back down, which again now he's awarded for and or rewarded for. We see him really purposefully come over top of that with that hand, punch it out. It's hard to track it right there, but he punches it out. It's a forced fumble that the Saints recover. So effort, and again, running back sitting in a little bit of traffic. gearing down. Obviously, he has faith in at this point that the play is going to be made regardless. So being the first defender there, you don't necessarily want to try to punch the ball out. You want the second defender to be there. But when you're in this much traffic in the phone booth, you have faith in him going down. Okay, shoot your shot. Shoots your shot and gets the ball out, pops the ball out. So Kwon, QB hit. Okay. He's right here. Just some savvy pass rushing. I think at this point, it's kind of the end of the game. They're playing more prevent, to be honest. So he has a little bit more flexibility, freedom, comfort. So he rushes off the edge. They're just sending 4. Rushes off the edge. He just gives him a little crossover. Not even a crossover, just a little short stride. Just like actually more like a foot fire. He gives him just a quick foot fire, but he's really aggressive into it. And really drops into it, really, really aggressive. The running back guesses outside. He gives him a little club arm over. Actually, it's a club arm over into an ice pick. Club arm over / ice pick. Get to the quarterback, get the hit. So a nice little pass rush. 2 more plays. Kwon near PD. Right here, press up on the center. Whether this be, I think this is another man look where they're sending guys from weird angles and things like that. But even if it's zone, he does a good job versus Pitts right here because gets into his angle, finds his threat. Okay, obviously he's taking a shallow route, so he doesn't want to run to get over top of this because he's angled towards him. So he's going to sit inside a little bit more, which is good. Sits inside. Pitts sits it down. Breaks back outside. Kwon, you could see him go. You could see his footwork as soon as he sees him gearing down. You see how his right foot goes back. Burst off the instep to match him. Close ground. Get hands on. Then look back to the ball. Goes to swipe that ball, chop that ball out there. But obviously, it's good timing from the quarterback. Good catch by Pitts. He gets the completion here, but I'm still going to give that's a positive play from Kwon to me. The explosion to get there is really, really good. Playing the ball. Again, he swipes down. You really do want to stab, but still, it's a good overall play. Kwon angle to match 3, armbar. Okay. He is right here. Yeah, he's right here, so he's going to open up to this side, actually, and match the 3. Let's watch. There's another situation where they're sending blitzers and they're putting him and Demario Davis in peculiar situations just in terms of matching guys without ideal leverage or alignment initially. So I think what they're doing here is it's another blitz and they're doing their best right here. You have man, and then these guys are playing 2 and 3. So he's going to play the 2, whoever that is. He's going to play the 3, whoever that is. So with that, now they switch release right here. So the 2 becomes the 3, and the 3 becomes a 2. So Davis pushes towards the 2. Kwon matches the 3, which is not ideal right here, but he has enough athleticism to do so. Matches the 3 who goes vertical. And again, he pushes towards him. Then you're going to notice him adjust to the angle as he starts to cross his face. Kwon adjusts his angle. Flat. Cut him off. Get hands on. We're going to see him put up that arm bar. We're going to see that from the other angle. Look back for the ball, which is it's kind of there, but still, really good job. Again, find the 3. Take a more of an aggressive angle. Adjust that angle. Cut him off. That arm bar, again, chopping that hand over the top. Now if the receiver's trying to go up, well, guess what? His arm is over the top, so he's not going to be able to go up for the ball. So hell of a job, arm bar. Find the ball. Nearly get the pass, PD, whatever we want to call it. It's almost like OPI here. Him trying to get that ball. Really good job right there by Kwon in coverage. Let's read his strengths and weaknesses and pray to God that this worked. Just bad luck. It is what it is. But live and we learn, right? I'm going to do a sound check every single time now before Kwon, 6'1", 225. I said that already. 28 years old, 12 games each of the last 2 years. I told you the games I watched before, right? Let me just get his strengths. I kind of just screwed that up a little bit. Strengths: acceleration, athleticism, blitz timing, lateral movement, flexibility, ability to get skinny through gaps, coverage, great change of direction, effort, good in run and chase roll, takes on blocks with physicality, stacks blockers with pop, quick to explode on screens, quick exit angles, slips blocks laterally well, flashes big hits, stays over top of routes well, attempts to punch ball out, defeats arm of offensive linemen well as he crosses their face, quick to find threat and robot, can disguise well with his athletic ability. Again, like pressing the line of scrimmage and giving him the number 3 assignment, not necessarily the easiest thing to do. Scans and passes off threats in zone. Loose hips, bounce and dropbacks, allowing him to drive forward on routes. Explosive secondary closing burst. Tackle radius, communication pre and post snap, stop-start ability, active eyes in zone, plays over routes with quick trigger to match break. Kind of already put that right, but I didn't really repeat much there. Weaknesses: injury history may be overstated recently. Some false steps and run game can be risky in how he leverages over routes. Tackling can overrun gaps. Feet can be a little flat in coverage. Needs to break down more consistently coming into tackles. Trigger can have slight delay, which I didn't really see too much of. It's there a little bit, to be honest, but it's not too bad. Eyes taking the wrong spot at times, which again, trigger, delay, eyes in the wrong spot. It's there. It's not as bad as some people think it is. In my opinion, can be hoppy in coverage, hoppy and flat-footed. We're seeing both of those in some reps. We need to limit both. Eyes can can get lost in QB's eyes. We've seen that a time or two. Will undercut blocks, taking overly aggressive angles, comes in the tackles high. So that's it for the Kwon review. I feel like I could have done probably more strengths and weaknesses there. Maybe I rushed that one a little bit in terms of strengths and weaknesses, but I think it's a relatively fine list. With all that being said, appreciate you guys. This will be, I don't know what review this is. I have 3 more to do, but this might be the last one you watch until they sign an offensive tackle. Nonetheless, whether it be on another review of a preseason game, regular season game, or of another player, I will see you guys soon.